Jody Williams, welcome back. Can-Am Connection, ladies and gentlemen. The special
Ah.
Tuesday edition because, oh, look, Ingen is live with Levon right now. You see, here's the thing, Jody. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, doing pretty nervous, but excited all at the same time.
Now, all these guys respect Ingen as the godfather of arm wrestling, but they don't respect one of the oldest YouTube channels for arm wrestling on the planet, which is this one that you're on right now.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to. There's always this whole, everyone needs to promote me more. They need to help me more. They need to do more for my stuff. But the second that somebody steps out of line, what happens to them?
Social media can be tricky and funny because, and what's up, everybody in the show? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tuesday edition, right? So Marco and Russ and Jay and GB and Justin, what is up? Here's the thing, because we all try different outlets and, options to try to get this sport where it needs to be, right? Where we think it should be. And if that means, hey, social media, fine. And you and I were talking before we went live, there's these awesome, sites come out of nowhere, and they're like, I'm like, oh, let me check this guy out and stuff, because I respect all that. And I'm like, I just see it for the first time. And maybe their channel's been open for like maybe a month, maybe two. And they got a lot more subs than I do. I'm thinking, wow. And this is not a ploy to y'all to help, pump my channel up. Because for me, is if you like it, cool. If you don't, you don't. That's what it is. But I'm just like, I'm not jealous, but I'm not going, damn, what am I doing wrong, But also, Ryan, you and I work on 9-to-5 jobs. You and I actually compete in this sport. You and I host this talk show once a week. And, you got your own show aside from this. I got my own show aside from this. So, sometimes I like to say, what are we doing wrong here,
I don't know, man. Maybe we're not controversial enough. We're not picking it apart enough. We're not focusing on the biggest names all the time, every day.
I tell you what, though, Ryan, we're not getting blocked by anybody. You want to start show off with that?
Maybe by the time we're done today, we'll be blocked.
That's okay. So everybody,
this is exactly what I was saying, Jay Clean. Exactly what I was saying.
Hey, and here's the thing. I already made my point clear as far as all the drama stuff. It's not that serious. If we, as a community, right, want to get our sport off the ground, and why are we doing the drama shit? I don't understand. I never understood that. Never understood that. But let's kick things off. So Ryan Bowen, in case you guys haven't noticed, has been blocked by Ingen, blocked by Neil. Hell, I think even Neil blocked Pradeep. Like, and Pradeep's been on our show on a couple occasions, and everyone's getting blocked. And I think that the bigger issue is, who's going live. I think Neil was on the Fix Sunday, I believe, had the boys on there, and they were talking about, what is everyone's opinion about when live shows go on, having a live show like you and I are doing now, but we're actually watching a pay-per-view, but we're doing a show, but we're not showing anything. And, I think, Ingen's kind of getting fed up, and Ryan kind of made something about, hey, I'm going to go ahead and show whatever. Because didn't Ryan get dinged for pirating some of Gary Roberts' stuff or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's this is the live. The whole issue is the live commentary thing, right? So the watch-alongs.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's an idea that they basically took from mixed martial arts. So Joe Rogan started those with UFC events. He was doing the live watch along show when he wasn't commentating himself. He'd have his buddies in a room. They'd be drinking and smoking and but just basically bullshitting and giving their thoughts on the fights as they were happening.
Right.
So this started to spill over into the world of arm wrestling. Now, it's a content generator. It's maybe a different take on an event that's happening. Do I think it's bad for the event? I don't know how it could be.
Well, there are some people who like certain personalities on the show, or I'm sorry, on YouTube, right? Some people like what Ozzy does. Some people like what Uncle John does, or Ryan Bowen, whoever. And I think once one person does that, another person could like, oh, let's do the same thing. Me, I don't have the wherewithal to sit here for 3 hours live and talk about something, because when these shows happen, these live events, it's usually on a Saturday morning, right? At least out on the West Coast. It's fucking 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I got to get up super early because normally that's when our practice times for my club is on Saturday mornings, usually at 10 a.m. But, if it's a spot where they push up the pay-per-view, I told my wife, hey, the night before the boys are coming over, we got pay-per-view. So I get the pay-per-view, but we practice and we watch, now they don't stay to the very end because lately it's been like fucking 6 hours, it feels like. But nonetheless, I can't fathom sitting in front of my laptop talking about and what I just can't do that. I'm not a news anchor, like.
The only thing I could, if it would be realistic for me, Jody, it would be a lot more fun as if a bunch of us that were like on YouTube for arm wrestling stuff, we're in the same room and we're watching it on, a TV that was off camera.
Yeah.
And we're talking about our thoughts in real time and just kind of doing our thing like the Fight Companions. And I don't see that as being harmful in any way. A lot of people, what they would actually do is they would have two sources playing at the same time, and they'd have the actual fights on, but muted.
Right.
Or arm wrestling on and muted and listening to the commentators of their choice, which I've seen Aussie Arm Wrestler do that a number of times too, where he's saying his piece, doing his thing, and people might have the TV off or on low and listening to what he has to say about the matches as they happen in real time.
Well, it'd be okay. I'll put you this way. It'd be different if you and I were in the same room, like you said, and we were watching it. That's different compared to like if we're doing this right now, because I can't see myself. At some point, I'm going to need to use the bathroom, right? Probably between matches. I just can't fathom myself, And if it's you and I, we're at your place or my place, or we're somewhere where you and I are actually watching it with a table right in front of us, we're kind of going through some stuff and kind of watching it. That's a little different, than just sitting in front of my laptop for hours upon end. Now, I'm not saying those guys out there should not do it. All I'm saying is that I can't do it. But then again, it's like, why are people getting blocked? Is what it comes down to. Burning bridges. There's a saying out there that, don't bite the hand that feeds you, right? And it sounds like Bone and bit so many hands and fingers that is he alienating himself from events now?
You know what? He's also one of the biggest names in the sport, whether you want to admit it or not. He's as a competitor, he's gotten some matches where he's gotten, kind of one-sided beatings, but he has played a part in getting arm wrestling to where it is now. So here's the deal, right? There's one name out there that nobody has ever called on their bullshit because it would hurt their brand to do so. No one in the mainstream has really said, I don't agree with Devin Larratt's antics at an event or all this stuff, or I don't agree that he called up me as a promoter in the middle of an event because I didn't agree with a referee's call.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they, I don't mind the energy, but Engen has had more beef with Devin Larratt than anybody over the years. Yet he keeps him around, and it's just
he's a big draw, man. He's a big draw. If you're not going to keep
everyone kind of on that same level, it says something about a person. You know what I'm saying?
I think also, well, how about this? I'll go a step further. How about the fans? Here, I'll give you a perfect example. The last couple East versus West, right? So you take Ungerbayev when he pulled Michael Todd. Michael Todd kind of lost his damn mind. And everybody was bashing on Michael Todd. And, I go out there and protect Michael Todd because he's a good friend of mine. One of my favorite pullers, a good friend of mine. And, there's times I go out there and protect him, For all the stuff he got pulling Ungerbayev, and everybody jumped on his shit and bashed him left and right. Oh, he's disrespectful. He's trying to be in the crybaby, blah, 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 blah. Okay. If that's the route you guys want to take, I'm okay with that, but make it all the way across. Because the one prior to that, when Devin Larratt pulled Prudnick, if that wasn't a dick performance, what he's doing, and then his wife in the background just yelling and screaming, why is it that, you know, and like I said, this is nothing personal against people. I'm just stating the facts. Everybody knows me, right? Hashtag these are the facts. So why is it that Devin can act like a a-hole toward Prudnick, his opponent? No one says a goddamn thing. But Michael Todd flips out. Everybody jumps his shit. Come on, let's be real.
Man, because Michael is a more polarizing figure, and the current fan base seems to appreciate Devin Larratt more than they do Michael Todd. And
But
they
wrong is
vilify
wrong.
him. Yeah, but wrong is wrong. It's not a fair situation, but it's weird that in the sport of arm wrestling, like, it seems like we will, as a community, do whatever it takes to get that extra little bit of inch ahead of everyone else. You know what I mean? Like, I fully anticipate, like, the way things are going with Engen's stuff, I love what he's doing. But I also need to accept the fact that I may never be able to compete there, because even if I win in Virginia, I might be banned by the time we get there, which is a whole different story.
Well, hell, first of all, I can speak on it because I don't plan on ever going to an East versus West. The closest thing I ever get to that is the qualifier, which I qualify for, but I don't see myself on that kind of stage because I know where my lane is, right? I'm not East versus West material. I am not king of the table material. Will I get there one day? Maybe, maybe not. But I know right now I'm not that. So if I were to get blocked from that, damn, right? So I still got other stuff that I'm in good, attention. I'm in good with ARMWARS. I'm in good with the Monster Factory. I'm okay with that, So call me, as a person who doesn't, believe in himself. Say what you want, but I know my lane, right? So that's just me being real with everybody.
Yeah. Well, you ready to get into our regularly scheduled program now that we've got the Bowen stuff out of the way?
Let's do it.
Larry Wheels wins a tournament. Let's talk about that.
That should have happened a long time ago.
Let me tell you about the frustrating part of that. He says he's not going to focus on arm wrestling after that.
Okay. Well, what part are we talking about? Because the minute that tournament was over, he said there's more wins to come. Hopefully, it's a great sport, this, that, and the other. But you got to remember, here's a guy coming from a different sport, He wanted to try it, see what it was like. He saw the draw. He's a big draw. I mean, he's one of the very few guys that has millions of subscribers on his channel, So anytime he comes back and goes to a tournament, it's going to be polarizing. And he's going to get a lot of views and stuff. Now, honestly, and I had put a comment on there, I said this was a long time in coming. This should have been something that should have happened before he started taking on super matches.
Agreed. And the fact that he can make it through a field and come out on top says a lot about his progress, his training, where he's at. Who got second place to him? What was the field like?
If it's the supers, I want to say Dave Depew, maybe.
So they're not bums. I mean, he didn't just go in there against a bunch of rookies and kill everybody. Like, he went in there against some decent arm wrestlers.
I mean, I think he went unbeaten left and right hand in supers, but then he took a loss to Ole Missouri, but I was in the overalls, and like Ole,
yeah.
I've pulled Ole before. And I know how that feels, He's beaten me a couple of times. I've beaten him. So I know how that feels. And, I'm just so happy that he finally got it, He went there. He did the first two King of Tables, right? He had Khaled one match. He had, God, who was his first ever match? I can't remember. Oh, he had Brandon Allen, And you're talking about Brandon Allen, who at that point wasn't that much more seasoned than he was in the sport, because he was still getting into it, And then he pulled Khaled. And again, those three gentlemen, they're made their mark in the strength world, right? And now they're in the arm wrestling world, which, strength is good, but without a technical standpoint, you can only go so far with strength, especially if you don't know how to use it in our sport.
Yeah. But it's good to see him man, taking the path. I hope he sticks with it, man. I hope his people and his sponsors agree that this is the right thing for him to do, because that's going to influence on what path he takes. Because Larry makes a living off of the fitness industry.
Yes.
If they want to see him arm wrestle, he will arm wrestle. If they want him to take a different path, I don't blame him for taking a different path.
I think, Ryan, and you probably know this more than anything, and everybody out there, once you have a sponsor, I'm not going to sit there and use the phrase that they own you. What I will say is that they're backing you up. So at some point, you got to make a business decision about what you do.
Yes.
It's not like Larry can just shut down the strength sport and say, I'm going to focus on arm wrestling. Okay, well, what got you to that popularity? The strength aspect. So if they say, hey, if you watch the video after the event, Dave DePue said, hey, if you want to, you can stick around and still do the curl. They had a curl event. So they had the arm wrestling event, which was the East versus West qualifier, and they had a strict curl event and some other stuff. So again, when you're that polarizing and you do multiple sports, you're going to bring, sometimes you got to go, okay, let me go ahead and take some time off. I want to make sure I do the strict curl because my sponsors are telling me, hey, we're going to back you. The worst thing that can happen is you get hurt.
Oh, of course.
That's the worst thing.
And, and Larry has gotten hurt in his chosen sports, not this one.
Right.
So
look at Jay Clean. How did Khaled get famous? Just appearing on Larry's channel. I mean, Khaled was doing grip stuff along, by himself. We didn't know until Larry went to go visit. Hey, what's this about? And all of a sudden he was like, wow, this Khaled kid's pretty cool. So, hey, I have an idea. I'm doing this arm wrestling thing. Won't you do it with me? And we all know Khaled is also an MMA fighter. So arm wrestling is not his thing. So when I understand people kind of got on him when he was like, I don't need to train. I'll beat this guy, beat that guy. It was exciting when I saw him beat Schoolboy. I'm thinking, wow, this dude is, legit. And then, no offense to Ryan, comes in the back door after Khaled already had a war and beat Schoolboy on the same arm. And Ryan comes in there fresh as a daisy. I'm going to put him down. I'm like, well, fuck, anybody's going to put him down when he already had a 6-round match. Come on, man. You're killing me.
Wow. Khaled didn't just get famous for appearing on Larry's channel, because let's not forget, at the same time, there was a bunch of other guys that appeared on Larry's channel. Khaled got famous because he appeared on Larry's channel and all of a sudden was tying up the guests that Larry had brought over to train with. So big name arm wrestlers were coming over and could not believe the strength of this guy. So that, combined with the fact that he was on Larry's platform, made him famous. And then, of course, he's getting in these super matches and doing, not bad. And he's kind of throwing it in everyone's face that it's not his primary focus. And as Jay is saying, he's a liar about not training for arm wrestling. Well, that's I think he's almost playing the villain here, saying, I'm going to come in here with just kind of dipping a toe in the water and still beat some of these guys.
But think about it. Look, when Khaled was on Larry's channel and Larry had these guests coming, Devin Larrett, Michael Todd, Chance Shaw, I think Derek Smith might have been there a couple times. And here's Khaled with this massive, King Kong grip, just gripping, not knowing the sport, but just gripping up. And they're like, shit, this guy's fucking strong. So when you got some of the top guys telling you how strong he is, I mean, that's legit. Can you imagine if Khaled actually gave a damn about arm wrestling, how lethal that would be?
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, the argument is he really does not care about the sport of arm wrestling? And is he just dipping a toe in the water, or is he just telling us that?
Well, again, he's another guy that has so many things on his plate. Grip sport, MMA. Arm wrestling is not his top priority. I mean, that's just what it is. And like Larry, I mean, he may take some, a little bit of time off to focus on some arm wrestling, but that's not his main priority, right?
Right.
Just being honest,
Yeah. Well, you ready to talk about ARMWARS?
Shall we? Everybody, welcome to the chat. Yes, let's talk about it, shall we?
Let's. So Neil was in the chat last week, and you didn't know who your opponent was.
Correct.
but he gave enough hints that we were able to figure it out.
I figured it out within the hour, maybe a little bit after that.
And who is it?
His name is Adrian Popescu out of Romania. And
how do you feel about this?
Knowing what I know now, he kind of reminds me of me. You know, and when I say that, I'm not trying to put myself on the soapbox. What I mean is that very explosive off the go, and he seems a little bit on the tall side. Lets the cameras do some weird things. He seems to be about 6'3", maybe.
He pulled when I was over in for ARMWARS in the UK and at the
reality check.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. It's an interesting match for me.
Yes, I'm very weary. I've been watching nothing but video on him, trying to see what I can do, and it never changed my training. Let me put this out there. So, getting ready for that, when it was on. Hey, Uncle John, Jody's going to throw down an ARMWARS. Cool. I was training. Now, my opponent is not going to alter my training. How I study my opponent does. Okay. So when it was, some rumblings about John couldn't make it, and John and I would talk off and on, and hey, there's a good chance I might not make it. I'm thinking, okay, now what's going on? And there was a moment where I was kind of left in limbo, like, okay, I'm going to hop on this plane. You and I were talking about this. I'm going to hop on this plane and not know who the hell I'm pulling, right? To the point we made a big joke about it. Hey, let's go ahead and have a poll. Hey, who's Jody pulling? And then Neil came up, Larry Wheels came up, Bowen, Stoica came up, and it was fun to have all that. And then Neil had got on there and was like, hey, can you be, Dracula? I'm like, what? Like, and it had me puzzled the rest of the show. He would put that in there. So there were times where, Ryan, you and I were on the show, and I was like paying attention, but I was kind of my other brain was saying, okay, who the fuck is this Dracula guy? And when our show was over, it's like, all right, I'm gonna look this dude up. I sat there. It had to be somebody recent. Even you sat there and told me, well, I know Neil mentioned a Dracula, but you could remember what his name was. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to go back to the very beginning of when ARMWARS rebooted, and that was Reality Check, right? That's when you had pulled Kardeka and, Sasha pulled RVJ, that event, right? So I'm going back every single match because if you guys know ARMWARS, when they bring up the match, they interview the two people, Neil will throw in that nickname. So I'm kind of like, okay, that's not it. Okay, Jeff Hill, Giannis, I know that's not it. So I'm going through every single match. Didn't find anything. All right. Well, he didn't say Dracula until like Iron House 2. So yes, Popescu was at the one you were at Reality Check, but he didn't give him that nickname yet. That's how I kept scaling down. Then once I found out, oh, it's this dude. I'm making, all right. I messaged Neil going, I got it. It's this dude. He goes, yes, mate, with the eyebrow. I'm thinking, all right, cool. Now it's on. Now I'm going back to Rock. I already saw that dude. Just didn't have a nickname. Cool. I sat there and downloaded all his matches. I'm watching them left hand, right hand. I'm thinking, all right, cool. Dude's pretty tall. He's pretty aggressive on the table, as I am. Like I said, my training, and what I'm doing right now, there is nothing between now and then this coming weekend that's going to make me that much stronger. All I got to do is make sure I don't get injured, right? And by the way, another thing, let me take a sip of this coffee right now. There'll be a secondary match I have this weekend.
Always. Yeah.
Yes. Also on the left hand. So my right hand is going to be holding the peg. If I happen to trip down the steps, I'm going to purposely land on my right just to make sure all this is intact. So, yes. And Ryan, I'm excited, man, because seriously, I leave tomorrow.
How long are you gone for?
A whole week.
So are you away for the next show?
Yeah, actually I am. Unless I don't know how good the Wi-Fi is there, but I gotta be careful because I don't want to sit there and say some things and I'm like still there, So and here's the thing: I leave tomorrow, right? So I leave from Redmond, Oregon, right, to Phoenix, Arizona, couple-hour layover. So if you're in Phoenix, your boy's going to be at the airport. From Phoenix to London, England. So I'll be in the air 9 hours in the air. And Ryan, you know how being in the air is. It's a long time, right? International. Did you get a meal when you went there? Because
yes,
you go.
My flight was a nightmare, man. I was all over the place, but I flew first class on the way over.
Okay, well, I'm not a first class guy, so I didn't get that memo. But
I upgraded it because I was it was not good.
I did take your advice though, because I remember when you went and it's like you got there, you missed a flight or something, or you got in late and you were at the house and all of a sudden you're making there were people making a bunch of noise, you couldn't sleep. All right, Ryan, you ready to pull today? They were like, what the fuck, dude? So
yeah,
I took your advice. I'm leaving early, so I'm leaving tomorrow. Again, Redmond, Oregon to Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix to London. That's a 9-hour in the air, and then London to Manchester. So that is my itinerary for those that care. And I will be there from there to the 28th.
And then you are not supposed to talk about the results until they're on the show, correct?
Correct. So don't fucking ask me who won and don't ask me how I did. I'm not allowed to say anything. I just know when it's all said and done, I will be sore as shit. So
all right. So we can't talk about it next week. And you might not be around next week for the show.
I might not be around next week. I get in
through the show. If you can't be here, I will find a special guest.
Right. Yeah, I'll be super sore. And Rush Schrader, my man's in the chat. So think about this. Once I come home, I got 4 weeks to get ready for Russ. So, yes.
Who else is on the card? Did we talk about the other matches on the ARMWARS card? Do they have them announced?
Yes.
I know John Carrion is going over there.
They got some announced, but I'm not going to announce all of them because Neil didn't announce all of them. So I'm not going to do that. What I will say, though, Mr. Mendaugas, the big dude, Doskis, is that how you pronounce it? Doskis?
Yeah.
And Austin Jaggers will be pulling left and right.
Interesting. I got to favor Austin in that, to be honest with you. I did watch Mendaugas pull against Metarangi. He looked good, but Austin's been on a bit of a tear lately.
And I'm glad he's getting that opportunity. I mean, he's rising up, getting an opportunity. I'm thinking, all right, here we go. Say what you want about the Breslin match. He put Derek Smith in his place, and he has momentum. So, that was awesome. Yes, Jay Clean, from one Mendaugas to another.
Whoops.
Yes, I know, Rush. You ain't stopped training. I'm actually getting videos from Rush Schrader.
Look at this one.
Deadlifting and stuff. So, I had to laugh. So Dan goes, it was done last week. So
yeah.
Oh man. Quick tidbit though. Question, Ryan. I know some of you guys are subscribed, right? But are you a member of ARMWARS?
I was. I recently did a whole bunch of things with, changing over credit cards to business cards, all that kind of stuff. So I canceled everything and I'll redo a bunch of stuff. But one of those things I canceled was all my YouTube memberships for the time being.
They got some good stuff out there. I would tell everybody to go ahead and do that. They got some good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of content that especially ARMWARS does behind the scenes for the YouTube membership.
Yes.
Michael Todd also has a bunch of behind the scenes stuff that he does. So those two are worthwhile. Yeah.
Also, from one Mendaugas to another Mendaugas. Is it Terrasitis? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
He's pulling John Terrian, your fellow countryman.
That's a good match. John is on the rise, so we'll see how we can do there eventually when the Iron House shows come out.
And let me pull up this card. I'm only going to mention the ones that Neil already. Usually, when he had the fix on, he had Mika on there and those guys, and they were talking about their matches. So here's Mika, right? He's pulling Josh Davis out of Ireland. So that would be a good match, you know. It's going to be super duper fun, you know.
Now tell me the format here, Jody. Like, do you guys all stay in that house?
Yeah.
So you're basically all living together, kind of Ultimate Fighter style.
You know what? Because the situation it is, I actually went back and watched some of the old Ultimate Fighters just to kind of get a feel of, man, you got all these athletes underneath one roof, and we're just hanging out, talking shop, and it's exciting because when you're doing this from on an international basis, it's fun, you know. Ah, Neil's putting stuff up right there. Y'all see that? There we go.
There he is.
And like I said, I didn't want to mention anything unless Neil already mentioned it. That's how respectful I am. And yes, Neil, before you got on, I told these guys, don't ask me nothing.
Man. I can't help it.
They sleep in one room and cuddle. Well,
that's how it felt when I was over there.
I will say this though: by me leaving tomorrow, it gives me a chance to readjust. Right? It's going to be jet lag. I've never flown out of the country that far before, so this is all new for me. So I will land, and I will sit there and go, "Man, this is pretty cool," you know, and just kind of get reacclimated to the scenery, the time change. I ain't talking about no 2-hour or 3-hour time change. I'm talking about some major time change. I got to get readjusted, my sleep patterns and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited, you know. So yeah, Neil, before we got on there, we were talking about last week where on the show I had no idea who my opponent was, and you started dropping clues, and I was half in the show, half thinking, you know, and I enjoyed the wild goose chase. I enjoyed the wild goose chase. But one secret that I won't reveal because I mean, I don't know. There is a second match for me. Wouldn't that be funny if it was Ryan Bowen? Dude, that'd be so funny. So
that would be awesome. But I think Neil's blocked him too.
Yeah, he did, you know.
Hey, listen, what movie is this from?
Oh, wow.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
We're not going to be spooning or anything like that, you know, but it's going to be fun though. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, and then Team USA, or you could say Team North America, will be representative. Joe Cagle, Austin Jaggers, Mika, myself, John Tyrion. So you got 5 guys from North America going over there to do some international pulling. I mean, it don't get no better than that, right?
Never.
You know, so I mean, I'm very, you know, blessed that I got the opportunity to do this, you know, so.
There we go.
Yeah.
As live.
Yes. So, guys, and, you know, I know Dan Plexman said, oh, this took place last week. So, I mean, I'm still laughing at that, you know, so it's like.
Sounds like this one will be like later in the day kind of thing.
Right. So, I mean, it's good, but please, guys, don't ask me or don't be texting me, dude, what happened? Did you win?
Everyone's going to do it anyway. They're going to ask you. You just have to be stoic.
No, just don't be blowing up my phone, draining my battery with questions. That's all. I mean, you'll see it when it comes out. How about that?
Yeah.
And we'll just leave it at that. You'll see it when it comes out. And it's almost like Christmas, right? Like, oh, I can't wait. Like the dude from New Zealand, the big dude, Meta.
Yep.
I've been waiting for like 7 months for this match. Probably wouldn't be that long, but I've been waiting for a long time to see his match, and it finally came out, and I was like, man, let's go. I was like, yes. So that match took a long time. And guys, you got to understand, when Uncle John pulled Kieran Morrison, right? That took place in January of last year, right? And the match finally came out, like I think the summer of last year, maybe August, I'm thinking. I don't know. Neil may know about that. And then everybody kind of got on John about it because now John has made that move, the javelin. He made that move like, hey, guess what? This is my move called the javelin. So now he has his own move named after him, the javelin.
I thought I made that move.
Did you name it though?
Somebody named it after. I made the javelin famous with pork chop.
So Neil Pickup says it won't be Ryan Bowen. Okay, but he hasn't blocked Ryan from anything. Only said that because there's been stuff going on that Ryan's been on Reddit saying I've been blocked by Neil and Ingen and blah, 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 blah. So that's a Ryan Bowen issue. So
Yeah, yeah. Who's the guy from? Is it Scotland? What's that
Which
dude's
one?
name? The
Who?
guy that has the YouTube channel and has like the new Arm Wrestling Uncensored page.
Oh, not Grant died, is it?
Grant. Yeah, yeah, that guy.
Oh, that guy? Oh,
He,
okay. So y'all know
he
the
made
joke
a
about
video saying that Neil had blocked Ryan Bowen.
you know the joke about this, right? Espey, about my elbows.
Yeah, you're juicing because you got pointy elbows.
Yeah, so that was the guy that made that up. I should make a t-shirt out of it, but he would get on social media and was like, "Oh yeah, well, you've been juicing because you got pointy elbows." I'm thinking, how is that? Like I got probably, if you look at my physique, nothing on my physique says anything about me juicing whatsoever.
Except
But
the pointy elbows.
except the pointy elbows, whatever. And he's even like trashing Paul Maiden. Paul Maiden got on there and said some stuff, but he's doing what he's doing, getting clout, whatever. Good for him.
Jay
I
Clean,
mean,
of all the research I've done over many, many decades about stuff like that, pointy elbows has never been something that has ever come up.
I should get a T-shirt and it's just say "Got elbows" with a question mark. So
Yep, yep. Then you got to tell everyone the story because they're not going to know what it
yeah.
means.
So what you think? Did you get a chance to check the Hard Danger Open?
I have not seen any of those results yet. Tell me
Uh,
give us the highlights.
it's out there. Is her name? Is it Pedersen? The lady from Sweden. There were two ladies from Sweden, and they had it reminded me of the Cataract Michael Todd match where it went like fucking 7 minutes long or whatever. It was
Oh,
a super
wow.
match, and it was like, are you serious? I mean, these ladies they were grinding, getting after it. Like I'm sure one of them had a sling on when it was said and done because the match they had was unbelievable. And yes, Carolina
Carolina
Peterson,
Peterson. Wow.
she was involved, and the other one was a legend. I can't remember her name, but I was like, are you serious? It was Sweden and Ukraine. And the reason why is I thought they got the same country colors. You know that, right? Blue and yellow. It's the same colors, but they were getting after it. I'm like going, are you kidding me? Like, wow. I did like the team event. Oh, Team Latvia. So yeah, Giannis was there. Yeah, Team Norway, Team Sweden, Team Ukraine. It was cool. I like that format that they have. It was nice. What's this going on?
Neil's just clarifying some stuff.
So all you guys making your jokes, Neil has spoken. The Vince McMahon of Arm Wars right there. You know what'd be funny? What if my second match was like, and Neil like brought in like Mark Felix?
Ooh.
I'm just playing,
Neil, call Mark Felix and bring him into Arm Wrestle Jody.
He brought in Mark Felix. I'm like, can you imagine?
Or Big Laws, bring him in to Arm Wrestle Jody.
Oh, there you go. There you go. But yeah, the Hard Danger was Coach Ray did good. Nicholas Nonstad was in there. Frodo Hogan obviously was there. Anytime you have those kind of events, rest assured those guys are going to be there, But I'll tell you what, I mean, that was an awesome event and stuff. And I forgot something. Did anybody catch the Pablo and Jonathan Brita match?
Oh my God, I didn't. What happened? I just remembered that myself.
I tell you what. When was the last? And this is an honest question. This is for everybody in the chat. I mean, everybody. Neil, please say something on this. When was the last time you saw two high-profile pullers that went the distance and not one strap was involved?
It's been a bit. It's been a minute.
And I mean, normally, when you watch these high-profile matches on these high, there's going to be a strap. Either get into a strap, and let's see. These guys went hook for hook all 5 rounds. All 5 rounds.
And what was the result?
Pablo ended up winning 3-2.
Wow. And a lot of people thought that Jonathan was over his head. I personally did not.
Well, here's the thing, Jay. No, Pablo won 3-2. But here's the thing, though. And you got to remember, because in North America, at the 242 class, that's my weight class, by the way. Pablo's number 1 left hand. Brito was number 3 left hand. So I mean, that was, you can't get no more high profile than that, you know. And it was awesome. But yes, and GB goes, Pablo lost against some little known guy. I saw a clip of that, and that's a big dude.
Mike Evola.
Yes.
Now you got to pay attention to that guy, because he is not just beaten Pablo. Like, he had come off the B side to beat Cody Merritt, and he's been arm wrestling a while.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody else brought him up to me. One of my favorite trolls who messages me from Manitoba brought his name up, and I pretended not to know who he was, but I definitely know who he is. And
those are the guys you got to be careful, because just because they're not household names doesn't mean they can't. What's that?
Well, I mean, Mike Evola, he's a big guy. He's not the most intimidating guy. He doesn't look jacked. He's not like, he's, got some extra body fat on him. His arms don't look massive, but he gets to the table and he looks tiny next to Cody Merritt. But
doesn't everybody?
His side pressure is wicked.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Everybody should know this by now. You don't have to be, not everybody has to look like Larry Wheels in order to arm wrestle, right? Not everybody. I look nothing like Larry Wheels. I'm not built like him, but I can grind. I can throw down when I need to. So just because someone doesn't look the part doesn't mean they can't pull. Cody Merritt does not look like your guy that can sit there and fucking, bench press the world right now, right? Or deadlift the world, but he gets the job done. So, everybody should know this by now. But I'm telling you, I just can't get my mind off that. They were, I mean, dude, it was like, hey, they both agreed when we say go, we're going to go right in the hook and make the best man win all 5 rounds.
Yeah. And Brita does not look like next to Pablo, he probably doesn't look like a very big guy.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you look at Brita, you're like, oh, okay, he looks okay, but he can, there's a reason why he's number 3 in North America, folks, in the 242 left hand. There's a reason for that, So don't ever underestimate anybody's stature. Do you think I'm going to go into Manchester to underestimate Adrian Popescu? No, because the guy's like probably 6'3", as far as I know. And I'm thinking I'm going to be looking up to do like that going, okay, so I may have to alter my style, because usually somebody who's 6'3" probably has a longer arm than I do. And I'm 5'11",
Yeah.
Maybe, I wish I was my 21-year-old son is 6'4". I got ripped off. Well, it is what it is, right? So exactly. My 6'4" son, 275 pounds, right? His dad, 5'11", 232. Go figure, whatever, right? Now, when I arrive there and I hop on this table and I'm looking up at Adrian, looking, all right, that's a big dude. I may have to alter my style, right? But still, it's just like, all right, I see what I got going on. I'll know the minute I grip up with him what's really going on. I'll know all that.
Yeah. You want to cover a couple more things before we get off of here, Jody?
Let's do it.
We got to talk about the Billy Berg is in the chat, and he is putting on the East versus West qualifier.
Oh, yes, let's hit it.
This weekend in Steinbach, Manitoba, and I'm going to pull both arms. And I heard it's going to be a pretty good turnout. So
how you feel about that?
I feel good, man, except last week I had an arm workout where I went really hard. And later that day, I went to put on a jacket, and it felt like my right bicep was tearing. So hopefully it's not. And then for 4 days after that, I couldn't straighten my arm, and I couldn't flex it all the way either. It's still a little bit tender, if I'm being honest. But I did grip up.
Mr. Espey, be smart.
I did grip up with a couple of guys at the event I was at last weekend, which we'll talk about in a second.
Okay.
And it felt okay in arm wrestling positions.
Okay.
So I'm not going to King's move. It's not what I do anyway. So I won't be fully extended.
Did you see my post about that?
No.
Finish your story and I'll tell you about it.
Well, I mean, that's just it. We got that qualifier coming up. Apparently, they've put a sauna at the event for people to cut weight if they need to do that. There's a $500 overall prize, which that kind of caught my interest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the guys from Western Canada are going to probably go to Toronto as an option instead of coming to this one, which I found interesting. But I mean, when you think about the guys in the East, Pork Chop is injured.
Woo!
Devin doesn't need to qualify.
Stop.
I saw
Hold
what
the
needed to
presses.
happen.
Hold the presses. Hold the presses. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Hold the presses. Matter of fact, Mr. Espey, do you want to go ahead and share that right there?
It's already up there.
Read it to me. Read it to everybody. I'm gonna
Neil
take a sip of
Pickup says,
coffee.
just thinking about it, I would actually love to put you and Adrian Popescu into a battleground right-handed with Josh Davies and Mike Sarabia.
Mika, yeah.
Mika.
Woo!
That could be a lot of fun.
Where are my gummy bears at? Oh my Lord, can you imagine that? Oh, I better start working my thumb over here.
So,
yeah.
So if I've learned anything from pulling at ARMWARS and for Neil, he will alter events
on the fly.
On the fly.
Can you imagine? I might be sleeping, right? And all of a sudden, and it's Neil. Dude, you got a match tomorrow right-handed. Can you imagine that? I'm up here sleeping and stuff, and Neil comes to my room, knocking on it. I'm thinking, oh, all right. Is it game time? You know, I'm fired. Oh, man. The fact that he said that, woo! I'm telling you right now. Where's my pest dispenser at? There he is. Good old Charlie Brown, man. Where's my favorite pest dispenser? The big giant one, Chucky. Oh, yeah. The world's largest pest dispenser. When I go like this, you see that? That is the motion of somebody's wrist. I'm going to crack back at ARMWARS. Just like that. Snap. Just like that. So me and Chucky, oh, yeah. Me and Chucky, I'm telling you right now, should I bring this with me just for good luck? I mean, I might get some weird looks at security when I go through this, and it'll be my carry-on. What the fuck is this? Like, hey, this is Chucky. Not Charles, but Chucky. Because I am going to, some way, somehow, I'm cracking somebody's wrist back. Just like that. Just like that.
I'm going to make a short out of that segment right there.
Pez dispenser. That's right. I'm going to get a t-shirt made. Pez Nation. That's right.
Ooh, you got him fired up, Neil.
Oh, dude, check this out. Everyone's naming their own moves, right? If Uncle John is naming the javelin where he's cracking people's arm back like that, can you imagine? Hey, what is this? This is a Pez dispenser, right? What if I named one of my moves the Pez press? What if I did that, right? The Pez press.
Oh, man.
Think about that. The Pez press. Or, hey, I'm Chocolate Thunder, right? How about the Hershey hook, right? or, hey, Chocolate Thunder and the Tootsie Top Roll. Whoa. Dude, I'm off the hook right now.
The Hershey hook, man.
You see what happens when Neil brings this stuff up? He brings it out of me, right? The Hershey hook, the Tootsie Top Roll, the Pez press. Man, I'm telling you right now, I don't have a sponsor, but I can market like a motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, yeah. It's so on.
Hershey hook is you.
Woo!
You're going to go with.
Sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to get off topic, but Neil put that up there, man. If I could, I'd do a fucking somersault right in front of this camera right here, but I'm getting off topic. I apologize, but yes. Yes. Here we go.
All right.
Sorry about that.
It is okay, man. It is good to be excited. Yeah,
but,
don't Hershey hook. Man, I don't know about that one.
I like this one, though. The Pez press. I like that one. But getting back to what I was saying, because I've been getting a lot of inbox stuff about the King's move and that kind of stuff. And I put it on my YouTube. Check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I put it out there. And some of the questions I was getting was like, Ah, there it is. See that? Way to go, Neil. Way to go. The question was like, hey, what are your thoughts on, the King's move and the flop wrist and dad boot, this, that, and the other? And basically what I said was, it's one of those moves where if by some chance you find a lane and that lane is there, you use it. I mean, we all pull to win, right? If there's a lane there, you probably would use it. That might not be your number 1 or 2 option, but if that lane is there, you will use it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if it's a dad move, it's more of like show anyway. But like we'll talk about the flop wrist, we'll talk about the King's move for a second. Now, normally I've done a flop wrist before and won some matches in a tournament format. That never happened out of the strap though, right? Because if you try to do this out of the strap, and this is Arm Wrestling 101. If you want to critique me, please do. So if I'm flop wristing here, right, and we're not in the strap, it makes my opponent that much more easier to climb up my fingers and then do this, right, where I have nothing now. Because see, my palm here, when they climb up on my fingers, I have nothing. However, when we're in the strap, we're tied together. So I have a better bite on that. You can really use this area right here to press your opponent down. I say if you get to that lane and it's open and you can transition, then there you go, right? As far as the King's move, probably something I would never want new people to learn, right? The only reason why that move came out, as far as I know, is because Michael has so many injuries. And more often times than not, Ryan, and maybe you can answer this, maybe Neil or some of you guys who's been around the sport a while, sometimes injuries force you to pull a different way, right? Sometimes injuries force you to go, okay, I'm going to do something else, and let that heal or whatever the case may be, with the King's move. I mean, if it's there, I mean, look at Devin. Devin was like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, when he started actually putting some thought into it and started using it, then, oh, okay, I can probably use this. Or now what they call open hand top roll, however you want to use it, right? So my whole thought was like this. If it's a move that you can access for a W, then why not do it? Because maybe Neil can probably shed some light on this. Back in the day, when it was all about power hooking and stuff, if you were to top roll, it was frowned upon, right? In fact, I do believe back in the early 80s, you got into it. If you slipped out of like you try to pronate out, they thought, okay, if you slip out, now guess what? Now we got to put you into a power hook. And you had to start in a power hook like that, And if you did it again, then it was like, okay, you lost the match. That was back in the early 80s, they did that. And now we've revolved where now top roll is like, oh, okay. There you go. So that was my tidbit about the King's move and top roll. So
yeah, and I don't think I should try. I've beaten this to death over the past couple of years, but King's move, guys that are coming into the sport and training that move, it can get pretty dicey for them. Even N. Will said he's seen guys try it and tear their biceps. Yeah.
Okay. My advice for these new guys coming to the sport, I'm glad and thank you for coming into our sport. It's a hell of a sport once you know all the ins and outs, but you got to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. What I'm talking about is the fact that you have to understand that, hey man, we don't want nobody getting hurt. I know you guys see these videos and Michael Todd's doing this and Devin's doing that. You got to realize if you're new to the sport, you don't have that many miles on the arm and tendons that these guys you're watching on TV do. Okay. That's one of the major things I have to say out there. I'm not going to say I'm some kind of arm wrestling professor, but I think when I've been in the sport for 13 years, I think I have an idea about what the hell I'm talking about. So you're talking about guys that have been in the sport longer than me. A lot of wear and tear on their arms. So they're probably used to that kind of pressure where these new guys, yeah, you may be strong and you may be built like Hulkamania in the gym, but when you go on the arm wrestling table, you will use tendons that you're not used to using. You will hurt for a while. And, that will tell you if someone's really serious, because when they wake up that next day and go, oh my God, what is going on? I can't hold a cup of coffee. If you can weather that storm and you still want to do it, okay, now you're serious. Sorry, guys, just trying to,
Well, let's spend the next couple minutes just talking about Stronghold.
Give it to me, my man. What do we got?
You see that belt behind me there? The belt is back.
That is my favorite belt. I miss watching the belt sit behind you because it was like when you were, honestly, and don't take this the wrong way, when we started doing the show and the belt was gone, you felt naked.
To you?
Dude, that belt, like, I'm a sucker for awards. One of these days I'm going to get a belt or a hammer or a fucking sword or whatever. But that belt represented something. It was a federation that you won and then went in hiatus for a while. And now it's coming back now. Now it's back. So, my friend, I'm going to give you the floor so you can go ahead and do your thing because you are the champion. Go ahead.
Well, I never lost the championship. They had to replace some of the plates on the belt because the league changed ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So Jeff Denise and Fraser Benoit, Fraser's Next Level Coaching, they now own Stronghold League, and they held the first event under the new ownership last weekend in Calgary, Alberta. 116 entries for their inaugural tournament, which determined all the number one contenders for future belt matches. So I know who I might be getting challenged by.
Come on, don't keep us waiting, man.
And you know what? I can't remember the guy's name, to be honest.
What the flip?
He's one of the Red Deer guys, so he trains with Matt Mask and those guys. I have to go back in there and look. I'm terrible with names, but I refereed all day long at that event. There was 2 tables going, and it was an amazing event. Match of the day goes to Mason Drosy and Kelly Leach. What an amazing match they had.
Leach.
And it was, one of them won, the other one came off the B-side, won a match, and then they had to do it again in the final. And Kelly came off and won the match. But I mean, Kelly and Dustin Leach they've been around. They're second generation arm wrestlers in Canada. And they're awesome.
Question: Did you happen to referee the super heavyweight class?
I did.
Okay, I'm only asking that because the winner of that would be basically the number one contender. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of good, big, strong guys. Left-handed winner was Greg Deneen, but I think he was in the Masters division.
Okay.
So only good things to come. The next event is in August, and we're going to have some super matches. But the one thing that I came away with that from, I looked at my wife and I said, should I get my league going again? And she went like this.
Oh, you got a league?
Remember the old UAWL that I was doing while COVID was on?
Yeah, I remember. That was the one that was in your gym, right?
Yeah, we still have a page. We still have established champions. We should, I'm thinking about getting it going again and running maybe 4 events a year every 3 months.
Because that was good, and all of a sudden it just stopped. So
COVID
took,
the rules got more and more and more strict as we went along, and before long we couldn't even have a person in our house at one point or on our property.
I remember you saying that because you were saying like for holidays you couldn't get together.
Yeah, that's right. But it's all gone now. So
good.
We're free to do what we want to do. And there is Stronghold in Alberta. Actually, in Alberta, there's a couple of leagues that function, but the main one is Stronghold. Mm-hmm. In Saskatchewan, you've got Fit to Fight. Why not have this one in Manitoba going again?
Why not? I mean, because I was getting into it, and like I said, it just kind of stopped. I was like, man, I wonder what happened with that. So, hey, dude, if you do that, that's pretty cool. Because I think when you started, it was in the very early stages, right? So you had like a couple, maybe 3 of them.
We had super matches to establish champions. I handpicked number 1 contenders. We could not have tournaments. We could not have large gatherings. So it was going to be all super match based. I'm contemplating just going back to a tournament style to establish the next challenger, just like Stronghold's doing, and doing the same kind of thing out here.
And you know what? And the reason why I like these organizations, because we all know that everybody wants to be on the big stage, East versus West and King of the Table. but not everybody can. I get all that, but there is something for everyone, right? That's what makes this sport great. There's some kind of organization for everyone. If your home is ARMWARS, Monster Factory, Arm Gods, East First West, you know, King of the Table, what you guys got going on. I mean, there's something for everyone, along with the other tournaments that we do that have been around for years and years, right? So that's what we need to focus on. Not so much the drama and all that BS, but that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you're going to get that going. Do you know when you might start?
Very preliminary, man. So I'm going to try to plan it out over the next couple of weeks and try to get something put on the schedule here. I have to consult with the Manitoba Arm Wrestling Association to make sure we are not scheduling events that are a week apart, and we'll see where it goes.
And speaking of the champion, remember when ARMWARS had like champions? I wonder if Neil's going to bring that back.
Neil, let us know.
That'd be kind of, because for a while, because you had to, back in the day, ARMWARS archives, everybody, check them out. That's when you had, hey, your super heavyweight champion was, you know, Devin Laird. Heavyweight was Michael Todd. I know Frodo Hoagland was like the middleweight, I think, maybe something like that. And, you know, Jeff Hale was one of the champions in his weight class. So that was cool. That was cool. I wonder if Neil will bring that back. That's pretty awesome. But yeah. Anything else you want to chat on, my friend?
That's it, my man. We are in an hour, but I want to say good luck to you and all the best as you travel across the pond, and you know, pull hard, stay injury free, and give it everything.
Yes, sir. Everybody, thanks for watching the show. Do not forget on your way out to hit the like button, share this thing. It's going to be awesome. My friend, I may or may not be in touch. I mean, I'll be in touch with you as far as if I can do the show or not. So how about that?
Sounds good. Either way, we'll be back on Monday. It will either be with Jody or it will be with, I don't know.
Ooh, special guest.
Maybe a special guest.
There you go. Everybody, thank you very much. Thank you for all your support. I appreciate that. I'm going to go give it hell and see where it goes for North America. So until next time, I see you when I see you. You guys take care. Take care, Ryan.
So long, everybody.